What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the new album from the band 1349, entitled Massive Cauldron of Chaos. This is released on Season of Mist. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Oslo, Norway, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very volcanic, apocalyptic, an overall anti-religion themed style of black metal. Over the last decade plus or so, 1349 have really made a name for themselves within the black metal underground and within the realms of other mediums of metal. I mean, they have a really interesting sort of approach to creating black metal. Not so much the traditional Norwegian style, but they like to be experimental and creative. Hell, even they did a Pink Floyd cover at one point. But yeah, this band has some really good albums within their catalog, most notably their last couple of earlier 2000s releases. Albums that come to mind would be Beyond the Apocalypse and Hellfire. That's some of this band's greatest material. But I was originally introduced to this band by way of their last full-length, 2010's Demon War. I was amazed by that record. I love the fact that they incorporated so many atmospheric elements to their music, not only within the interludes, but within the actual structuring of the music. I think it's just amazing that they can create such devastating black metal. And not to mention the fact that I like that this band has a very unique way of introducing their tracks. They start at track 11 and so forth, because they're not a band that really believes in the Ten Commandments. And I think that's very intriguing to their overall concept, that they start at track 11 and so forth. And yeah, that's a little trait that 1349 are known for. And of course, as of lately, they've been getting a lot more exposure, going on a lot of national North American tours, touring with the likes of bands such as Marduk, Withered, Goatwhore, and Behemoth. I mean, they recently did the Metal Alliance tour earlier in the year, and pretty much more people got to get more acquainted with 1349. Now comes this brand new full length. This is, of course, the follow-up to Demon War, and this is their 6th overall full-length album. It's 8 tracks, and it clocks in at around 38 minutes in length. And this album pretty much continues on in the same path as the last record did, Demon War, basically keeping it within the realms of black metal. But yet, there seems to be much more of an aggressive, almost thrashier edge when it comes to the music. I mean, when I first heard the lead-off single to this album entitled Slaves, I was very intrigued by how that track sounded. I mean, from the minute you heard the riff work to the overall song structuring, it really sounded completely different, but yet, it was still a 1349 single. And I was very interested to hear how the rest of this particular album would sound. And after giving this album many repeated listens, here's what I got to say about it. Going back to the riffs, I'm almost detecting an aura noir sort of quality when it comes to the riffs. I mean, almost a black thrash sort of style. But yet this is a black thrash sort of style that 1349 can pull off and get away with. And I think the riffs that are being displayed on here just sound really, really amazing. Very catchy, very evil sounding. Going to later tracks like Exorcism and then Chained, you just get some really creative riff work going on those particular tracks, and it definitely heightens the already intense mood that this band knows how to bring. If any band can definitely set up an atmosphere properly, I would say 1349 are the band to definitely bring that sort of style and soundscape really well here, and they do that with Massive Cauldron of Chaos. I think the riff work here is really stunning, and it definitely makes for something that requires multiple repeated listens. I think the bass tone is very good too. It definitely falls in line with how it sounded on the last record. I think it's a little more well balanced, and I think it definitely suits the overall length and speed of this album. I don't think this is really an album that suffers from any sort of overkill or filler. I think it's just right. I think it's the perfect album length. It goes on really well, and I definitely think that this that the overall guitar and bass tones sound really well, and I think it's a very well mixed record too. I think it sounds really good. Moving on to the drums, of course, you already know how Frost sounds. He is a very skilled and incredible drummer. He, of course, drums for Satyricon, but this is his other main band that he plays in, and pretty much he delivers the typical Frost performance. You're going to get a multitude of creative fills, lots of fast double bass, lots of creative blast beats, and overall just the intensity that Frost brings to his drum performance sounds really good. I don't know if I like this performance better than I did with Demon War, but here I think he has a little bit more room to relax and breathe better. Demon War was just chaotic and frenzied, and Massive Cauldron of Chaos seems to be settled down just a little bit, but still Frost delivers a very incredible drum performance and definitely maintains the pace on every single track on here, even to the shortest track on here, Golem, which is like 1.5 minutes long. I would have loved for that song to be better and maybe have more depth created with that particular track, but I still think Frost delivers an incredible drum performance on that track, as well throughout this entire record. Even the closing track, Godslayer, is a very, very well evidented example of how good his drumming skills can really be. And moving on to the vocals, of course, if you're accustomed to Raven's vocal style, he delivers another really awesome vocal performance here. I definitely think this is a much improved vocal performance over the last record. You're going to get the typical sort of Raven style of vocals. You're going to get some really awesome venomous sounding growls, and then there are some instances where it verges off into almost spoken word sort of territory. I definitely think he is a really good storyteller when it comes to delivering vocals. I love his style, I love his energy, and he definitely does deliver that on tracks like Slaves and once again, going back to the closer of this album, Godslayer, I think he does a really, really great job on that particular track. So, overall, I think this is another really solid entry into 1349's discography. Comparing this to Demon War, I'm not sure how I really feel about it. I want to think that this is settled down just a little bit, but I still think this album brings the intensity and the chaos that you would best know 1349 for. I mean, if I were to have any real one complaint about this album, I really wish the album cover art was better. I mean, what I have in my hand is the limited Digipack version, and when you get the Digipack version, you get this really cool fold-out poster, which has some extended artwork. I mean, they could have taken a chunk out of this and made it into the actual artwork. I don't know if you can see that really well or not, but I think this album cover art is really... I mean, the artwork that's in this poster here is really, really nice. And I think they could have used that for the particular album, but oh well, what can you do? I still think this is a really solid release. If you're a fan of 1349, I definitely think you will enjoy this record. Definitely go out and pick it up if you're a fan of what they do. So, if I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Slaves, Exorcism is really solid, Golem, and Godslayer. So I will leave you some links in the description box as to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will link you to the Season of Mist Bandcamp, where you can stream this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. It is available on multiple physical formats. It is available digitally, jewel case CD, cassette, 12-inch vinyl, and of course this Digipack version, which is limited to 2,000. Mine that I'm holding is number 230 out of 2,000. Really good multi-panel digipack. Of course, you got the CD in here, and it comes with this really big patch with embroidered 1349 logo, some of the artwork on here, and Massive Cauldron of Chaos. This is a really sweet patch, and again, awesome quality done by Season of Mist. So, I'm going to show you the album again. This is Massive Cauldron of Chaos by 1349. This is released on Season of Mist. Check this out. And I'm going to give this a very solid 8 out of 10. I think this is a really awesome piece of Norwegian black metal by 1349. If you've heard this album, let me know what you think of it. Either way, support 1349. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for joining my channel. And until the next time, Army Ho out.